Hello, this is Katie. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time. This is day 3 of a video a day in October, Halloween themed, and we are starting with the Lawn Fawn Simple Stripes Landscape die. I didn't do my math here. I'm going to have to cut another out of purple, but we'll get to that when the time comes. I hadn't used this, and I figured a Halloween card was the perfect place to start, so I went with purple and black. This takes me a minute to line up, and I'm not sure if this just isn't 5.5 long or if my card base was, because you cut one piece of paper in half, and it depends on your trimmer and your ruler, but it's really easy to just flatten that card out and cut off the end, so that's fine. And then I am alternating pieces between purple and black. I want to make sure it is sticky on all sides so I don't have any edges peeling up. Now that I'm looking at it, this is very Beetlejuice-esque, which I'm okay with. It's not a Beetlejuice card though. Yeah, I don't know why I put the die over. I just figured I would be starting with purple and ending on black maybe, but I put the die over the purple piece of paper that I had, and it wasn't big enough to cut the whole die out. And so now I don't have a purple bottom because I can't count for some reason. And then I even hold up one of these, but obviously it doesn't look good because there's no stitches along the bottom. So I took a pause, cut out the die out of more purple paper, and now we have a bottom. So I'll stick that on, and it does line up pretty well. So that's the size of a card, so that should be good. I think my card was a little bit longer, maybe like a millimeter longer than 5.5. And then we're going to be using the Boo stamp set from Pretty Pink Posh. I love this one as well. This is kind of similar to the Halloween wreath. I think the Halloween wreath images come off more cutesy, but this is kind of similar items, but in the word Boo. This was a release from, probably at least a couple years back now, if not longer. I just know that I thought I bought it, and I actually watched an old video of mine because I wanted to see how my videos used to be. I know that sounds funny, but I watched the video where I hauled this item, and I had thought I bought it because why wouldn't I? It's Halloween and it's cute, and I guess I didn't, and so I think I bought it like a year late. So it was very strange. It was just one of those things I thought I had. I assumed I had it. I was going to use the die cutout as kind of a stencil to inlay these to make sure that they lined up, but I realized I was not going to get that straight, and so nothing would come out straight probably. So these actually line up perfectly for being a different brand, along 3 of the stripes in this die. So I just kind of spaced them out where I thought they should be, and then tried to center the second O. And then I just pushed that last one a little further out. So it's as centered as it's going to get. I probably could have pre-planned a little bit better, but I think it looks fine. And then I will zoom in for some coloring. I'll be using my Tribalins along with maybe like 1 or 2 Copics for gray and I think an orange. I can't remember. But every single time I do candy corn, I usually am filming. I'm already filming, so I ask my husband to Google the order of candy corn because he doesn't remember either, even though he's always the one that looks it up. So we both always forget. And we actually guessed that orange was on the bottom, and it is not. It is yellow. And so I'm always forgetting every single time I go to color candy corn. I should just draw a huge candy corn on paper and color it in and then put it on my wall in front of me, or make some giant candy corn art so at least it looks artistic. But it's really just a color guide so I don't forget. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even like candy corn. It's disgusting, but it's in so many of these images and I need to color it. So I'm using the dark end of the orange tri-blend, which is probably a little too dark for candy corn, but that's fine. And then I used the full tri-blend for the pumpkins because they were big enough to get kind of a gradient of color in them. Most of these images I'm coloring in just singularly. I'm going to use the light end of the dark red blend for half of the leaves. Oh, the orange Copic that I go for, I think it's the pumpkin orange. I'll show it to you. I use for the other leaf because I didn't want to use the same orange I had used on the pumpkins and the candy corn. Pumpkin yellow, YR15, for the other leaves, which is a perfect leaf color. I do blend the witch hats, so I do purple. I think purple blends are my favorite for witch hats. I do it a lot. I have painted a larger witch hat that I drew in purple colors, I think. Maybe that was black. But I prefer purple. So when I color them, I'll do purple, and I actually do the tri-blend, even though these hats are so tiny. If 1/3 of your blend is just you dotting the paper, then so be it. But I wanted something of a blend for those. But for these skulls and the ghosts and the bones, I just used, I think, C0. So just a super, super light gray. And I end up going over them again because you color it in and it's wet, but then it dries because it's alcohol ink, technically. And it gets really light. And then I couldn't even tell if I had colored some of them because they had gotten so light. So I went over some of them again so you could see a hint of color. And then I'm also going to be going into the eyes of the skull with a darker gray on one of my tri-blends because it just looks better to me. I wanted to give them like some kind of shadows like you would see in an actual skull, which is super creepy if you think about it. But the eye hollow area is always darker because it's inset. And then I did use a BV color actually, which kind of comes off gray, but it really is like a violet blue, which is the BV, blue violet. But it's kind of like a grayish purple to me. So I used one of those for the bats, and I thought that turned out really good. I've been purchasing more of the BV side of the hex chart for Copics because I'm trying to fill in my purple options, and I know that I'm going to have to branch out to some of the BV colors to get those. And I had asked in my last video, I believe, for some recommendations for 3-color blends for Copics because I want to use them more and I want to make like a master chart of all my favorite blends. So if you have a favorite blend, I probably have the colors, so feel free to let me know down below and I will test them out and put them on my chart if they work out, and then hopefully use my Copics more than reaching for my tri-blends all the time, which I love them, and I love that they work out and they're something that I use regularly. It's so rare that I regularly use like a set of markers. I mean, let's be honest, I reach for these most often, but it's nice having an art supply that you actually use on a regular basis rather than letting it sit. And so this is one of those for me. I love all the turquoise blends. The blue blends are great. There are really very few at this point that I don't like. But sometimes, I mean, it's just too bright of a color for the situation I'm working on. But yeah, I really like my tri-blends a lot. And I will gladly take more colors, but I'm not sure how many more they could make or if they are even going to. Probably not. Their system for markers is super confusing and I've never understood it, but I was glad to get my hands on the 2 different boxes of tri-blends. And you can, I believe, still purchase them individually. So if I have a color that I use a lot more than another, it's going to dry out a lot faster. And I can buy that individually, I think, online. I'm sure Dick Blick is one of the places you can get that. But yeah, I'm just finishing this off with some Nuvo glitter glue, glitter drops, and on the candy corn. And that will complete the card. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.